stress is necessary for peak performance. Stress increases when we see an outcome as uncertain yet important. Basically, we can interpret stress in two different ways. We can either see it as a challenge or as a stressor. If we interpret stress as a challenge, we see it as potentially promoting our personal growth and development. It increases vigor and hope and leads to meaning. It is also called eustress. On the other hand, we can also interpret stress as a stressor or hindrance, and then we see it as potentially constraining success that leads to maladaptive behavior and disrupts reasoning. It's also called distress. So you probably already know or have guessed that interpreting stress as a challenge is better to overcome our difficulties in our daily life. As a response to interpreting stress as a challenge, we increase our resources to deal with the demands. These resources include social support, mental readiness, preparation, both mentally and actual, like in the outside world, and reappraising the importance of the outcome. This makes us more able to cope with our daily difficulties because we focus more on the long term. We increase our resources, and coping with our difficulties in this manner is not necessarily a quick fix, although it can be, but it's definitely something that will be better in the long term. In addition to the two previous videos about energizing and calming down, if you haven't watched them yet, I recommend you doing so. I want to share with you some more things you can do to improve your performance. Let's first have a look at cognitive and or emotional components. The very first thing is interpreting stress as a challenge. This is probably the most important one. We've talked about it already and you basically know what it is. The second one is positive self-talk and gestures. So you should talk to yourself in a positive manner and you should behave positively. You should adopt a positive posture, a confident posture, to be better able to accept the challenges as such. The third thing is to focus on the positive. That will help you increase your confidence and develop learned optimism. Focusing on the positive does not mean that you have to disregard all the negative. It just means that you do not focus on it. So in total, you're just more positive, and if you're more positive, you are more constructive, you're more looking for what you actually can do. For example, in sports, high self-confidence leads you to react much quicker because you're not worried about self-doubts. You just do what you think is the right decision in that moment, and in the majority of the cases it is actually the right decision, and you will be faster than your opponent because you're not doubting the choice. I will talk more about this in a different video because it's such a big topic that I want to discuss a bit further. The fourth thing actually relates to one thing I just said. It is focus on the things you can control. If you focus on things that you cannot control, you're wasting your focus because you cannot change them. And your focus is limited, so you just want to focus on the things that you yourself can change or that you can somehow influence. The fifth thing actually relates to the second, namely the gestures. You should act in a committed and dedicated way. This will send out the signal to other people that you know what you do, that you're determined, that you really want it, but it would also send the same signal to yourself, and that will build up your confidence. In conclusion, you should stay positive, interpret the world as challenges, focus on the positive things, and focus on the things that are in your control. But they are not only the emotional and cognitive components I want to talk about, but I also want to briefly talk about the physiological components. For athletes, it is beyond doubt that the physiological components are very important, but also for the rest of us, physiological components are very important to consider when we want to achieve peak performance, because we work with our body works with us. It is important to have a good respiration or breathing, adequate recovery, rest, nutrition, and a good physical fitness. Research has shown that these 5 factors significantly influence how well we are able to manage our emotions, sustain our concentration, think creatively, and stay committed. It is also crucial to have the right level of physical arousal or excitement, activation, however you want to call it. The videos on energizing, calming down will help you on that, but I will also create another video talking about what is the right level of physical arousal. For now, the conclusion of the physiological component is take care of your body. You need proper nutrition, you need rest and recovery. And for that it is very important to listen to your body. If you are much more fatigued or too fatigued to train, for example, that is a signal. I cannot tell you what kind of signal it is, but it is a signal, so figure out where it comes from and what it means. The takeaway from this video is you have to equip yourself with the right mindset and a positive focus. You need to treat your body well in terms of activity, nutrition, rest, recovery, and so on. You have to be both mentally and physically prepared for peak performance. See you in the next video. If you have any comments or questions about this topic or other topics, please write them down in the comment section below. And if you want to know more about those things, hear more about different opinions on different topics of psychology and personal development, coaching, please visit my channel and subscribe.